Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video we finally got some IRA Armory deck spoilers, or more spoilers. We got two cards, a headpiece and an arm piece. We're going to talk about them, what it means for the deck, kind of like my general thoughts on them, and also get your opinions as well as a community. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. We will get right into it. Check out all the good stuff down below, Discord, creator worksheet, all that good stuff. So one little quick blurb before we get into the cards is this Armory deck is very interesting for me as someone who enjoys and loves IRA, where it's like Edge of Autumn, for anyone who's not aware, and I'll pull up the card here, was IRA's signature weapon when the game first came out. For anyone who hasn't been around super long, or maybe you don't know how the game started, the game started on IRA welcome decks. Like there was entire tournaments where people were just playing the IRA welcome decks. And that's what everybody learned the game on. Edge of, excuse me, still coughing after like 3 weeks. Edge of Autumn, what is IRA's signature weapon? And at least from my understanding, I haven't heard anyone come out and say this. I just feel like it's implied. This weapon wasn't made to be competitively viable. It was made as a way to learn the game on, right? You pitch one resource to play Edge of Autumn, then you play another attack, getting +1 from IRA's ability, and you use that value as much as you can. It's a two-handed weapon that's 1-for-1, doesn't have any shiny stats. Like this was made to just learn the game on. It wasn't made to be competitively viable. So now we're fast forwarding to the Armory deck 5 years later, and or 6 years later almost at this point, 2 months away, and we are seeing LSS try to make a weapon and an archetype, so to speak, into a competitively acceptable thing. So it's going to be really interesting to see how powerful some of these pieces actually are in the IRA deck. And it's like I told you, like this, like I said in the last video, this Armory deck is going to be kind of unprecedented in a way where it's not a new hero, but it's a brand new archetype for a hero. It's almost like a version 2 of a hero, so to speak, even though it's technically going back to version 0, whatever the case may be. So some of these power pieces may be useful. Like I feel like they're going to have to be useful enough because LSS wants this version of IRA, the intended version of IRA, to be playable from a competitive perspective, because this is an Armory deck. This is supposed to be the entry point into competitive play. So it'll be interesting to see like how synergistic they make this deck. But we'll get right into it. Nothing crazy here. The headpiece is Iris of the Blossom. It is a blade break that blocks for 2. Instant tap, discard a card, search your deck for Whirling Mist Blossom, banish it, then shuffle. You may play it this turn. Activate this only if you have hit this turn. So ideally, in the most simplest of play lines, you swing with Edge of Autumn, it hits, so you've hit this turn. You tap your headpiece, you discard a card that you may not really need that turn. Maybe you have an extra blue that you don't want, which is really nice. And you can go get Whirling Mist Blossom. Now, this is really interesting for a couple ways. One, I don't think this headpiece is too crazy, right? It's just a normal, majestic headpiece on the Armory deck level. I think it falls in line with the power of other Armory deck Majestics, so I'm not like upset by this headpiece. I think it fills its intended purpose. They're wanting you to use Whirling Mist Blossom, which is IRA's signature card, which if anyone's not aware, Whirling Mist Blossom is an IRA specialization that says if Whirling Mist Blossom hits and it's a second or higher chain link in a row to hit, draw 2 cards. It only attacks for 2 though. Even off of IRA's ability, it only attacks for 3. This card normally hasn't seen play because it's a yellow 2-block that doesn't hit a breakpoint even off IRA's ability. And in the Kodachi version of IRA, you can't even pitch it to play Kodachi. So it has a lot of lack of utility, while also its ability is really easy to cover up. Like even if you play around Ancestral Empowerment, you only have to block 4. If you want to play around Razor, you can 2-card block it, but really no one's going to do that. They're just going to block with a defense reaction, or even just 1-card block and make you have it. And so it hasn't been consistent enough to see play. However, being able to search for these in your deck at any given point, I think could be really, really useful. IRA sometimes will have hands that are like, 3 blues and one go again card, and you can't really like utilize your full hand like you would want to. So at least you could discard a blue and be able to go get a Whirling Mist Blossom. Being able to discard 1 powers maybe for looking for a scrap, whatever the case may be. And also with the Edge of Autumn version of IRA, you're not going to trigger Masculine Momentum as much. Now, you probably still will play Masculine Momentum. I'm not saying don't play it, or it's not going to be like, the main headpiece or whatever the case may be. But with Edge of Autumn, because you might be playing more of a value game if you choose to go that way, with not getting consistently high chain links, you might want it might be worth it to use Iris of the Blossom and just be able to get that power card. This headpiece also gets a lot better if they start making Whirling Mist Blossom support. Maybe we get a red Whirling Mist Blossom. I'm just throwing something out there, right? That hits a breakpoint off Iris' ability. That'd be pretty sick, although that'd be super powerful. It's a 1-for-4 snatch on hit, draw 2 cards with Go Again. I feel like that's a little bit too OP, but regardless, if they make any type of Whirling Mist Blossom support, it could be useful. The other good thing about this headpiece is using its ability doesn't destroy it. As long as you can discard a card, you can search your deck for a Whirling Mist Blossom, banish it, and shuffle. This also allows you to like shuffle your deck if you have Fail to Find. It still blocks 2. So overall, it's a good headpiece. Is it better than Mask of Momentum or Crown of Providence or Arcanite Skullcap? Probably not. But we have to see the entire list before we pass full judgment on this headpiece, if that makes sense. The next one, and the one I'm a little bit more excited about, is Okana Scar Wraps. First off, the art on this is sick. It looks so cool. It's an attack reaction. Tap this, banish an Edge of Autumn you control. So you have to swing with Edge of Autumn first. I'm assuming you're only going to have one unless we get some type of token support, but I doubt it. Target ninja attack action card gets +1. Whenever an attack you control with Vengeance in its name hits, you may equip an Edge of Autumn from your banish zone. It also has Blade Break 2, which again is pretty good. We have 4 blocks so far on the armor, which is really, really nice, right? Couple things about this. One, this is a multi-use effect. As long as you can get that Edge of Autumn back somehow at some point in the game, you probably potentially could use this 2-3 times, right? And if you have an opponent that doesn't like the block, and we get multiple Vengeance cards, especially ones that maybe have Go Again, all of a sudden this starts to really snowball. Because let's just say we already have the 2-for-6 Vengeance, right? Enact Vengeance combo. If Edge of Autumn was, or a card with Vengeance in its name was the last attack this combat chain, this gets, when it hits a hero, destroy all cards in their arsenal. Doesn't have Go Again, but it's a 2-for-6 Command and Conquer like effect at block 3. I'm assuming we're going to get 1 or 2 more playsets of Vengeance cards. And I'm also assuming one of them is going to have Go Again. We're going to get some type of 0-for-3. Maybe it's a 0-for-2, so it doesn't hit a breakpoint with Go Again. So it's going to be able to bring this Edge of Autumn back, hopefully, if you have 9 to 12 cards in your deck with the word Vengeance in the name, to be able to use this effect 2 or 3 times. If anything, this is once you use this the first time, this now creates a pseudo on-hit effect for any card with the word Vengeance in it, which will, make your opponent potentially have to respect you a little bit more. Because if you're, let's just say we get 2 play sets of cards that have Go Again with Vengeance in the name, and you use this one time to get +1, your opponent's not going to want you to basically have almost like a continuous +1 effect, right? So being able to do that, is not advantageous for them. So you might get a little bit more on-hit support in this deck. The other thing I'm noticing is it says target ninja attack action card gets +1. To me, that tells me, and I could be overreaching here, and if I am, we'll see when the full list comes out, that this deck is going to be hyper ninja focused, right? We might see some Scar for Scars, right? We might see, 1 or 2 play sets of generic cards. But for the most part, I think this is going to be like an all ninja deck, which if that's the case, if that ends up being true, I think we might see, again, like we talked about last video when we were talking about the IRA predictions, or it was on, not video, but it was the last live stream. I'd go check it out. We talked about how I think this is going to be a highly synergistic Armory deck, because it kind of has to be in order to bring Edge of Autumn into the fold. If they really want to bring Edge of Autumn from a welcome, learn to play level weapon all the way to an Armory deck where this is like, hey, you can buy this deck and then upgrade it to be competitive. Because that's the thing, is Kodachis eventually, one day, will go away when Katsu LLs. So they're wanting to bring Ira into the fold with her signature weapon with Edge of Autumn and say, hey, you don't have a crap weapon. This weapon is good enough because of the synergistic pieces we have put into it in order to make it competitively viable, starting with this Armory deck. So I think we're going to have a highly synergistic deck. They're going to have to do that in order to, make it worth it. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. The arm piece is really exciting. I think, at worst, this is a breaking skills, one-time breaking skills that blocks 2. However, you do lose your Edge of Autumn. But if you can even just do this one time and get your Edge of Autumn back one time, then you've essentially done what Breaking Skills does, but it also blocks 2, if that makes sense. So I'm super excited about the arms more so than the headpiece, but I'm withholding judgment on the headpiece until we see if there's any more support for Whirling Mist Blossom in some way, shape, or form. Maybe we get an attack reaction that has more power if it's being used on a Whirling Mist Blossom. Maybe there's another equipment piece that cares about Whirling Mist Blossom, whatever the case may be, in order to make the most of that card. Because they want that card to be powerful, but you can't make it too powerful because drawing 2 cards is insane. So we'll have to see how that goes. But super excited. The art was really sick. These fall in line with most of the Majestic level equipment pieces we've been seeing in the recent Army decks in terms of power. The block value is the really nice thing to me. Yes, they're Blade Break, but just having 4 block, like having an Armory deck that has, so far, without even seeing the last 2 equipment pieces, a minimum of 4 block on it is really good. So I'm super excited about that. But let me know what your general thoughts are. If there's any like cool points that I missed that you're thinking about. As more stuff is revealed, we'll start making the deck for it. I'm really trying to wait till the deck list because it's so hard to make the deck right now without seeing what the Vengeance cards look like. That's the glue that we really need in order to make this worthwhile. But yeah, super excited to mess around with Ira in true ninja fashion. So she's not just generic card soup, right? I don't want that. I want to have a cool combo deck. And Ira, hopefully they can bring her into the fold with that. But yeah, thank you all so much. If I missed anything, please let me know. This is just my initial gut reactions. Love to hear it from you. Stay safe, and I'll see you all next time on TC Talk. Thank you all so much.